you got to know how to your communication styles. Say, I'm going to the store. Is your spouse here? I'm going to the store, or they hear I'm going to a strip club? Something like that, right?
Wow.
So, are you guys on the same page?
Hello, somebodies. Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Mr. Mafuchi, and with me is my co-host, the eye candy of the show. Ladies, you know him. You love him because you know why? Because ladies love Cool J.
Hello, everyone.
That's right. And on today, divorce. So, an evil word for all us married folk. But how do we get there? And can it be prevented? Well, that's what we're here for, the marriage pros. So let's get right into it. Let's get into the quick shot.
My wife and I already discussed our deal breakers. So for me, it's cheating. So that's my major thing. It's once you cheat, I feel for me, trust can never be rebuilt. I know some couples can rebuild that trust. Me, it's not gonna work for me because I'm always gonna think in the back of my mind, oh, you're not with me? What are you doing when I'm not around? Type of thing.
Well, I think it's similar to yours, Jay. So in the quickness, I'm going to throw out, don't let another wiener get inside of you. No, that's just number one. And number two, if it's going to be with a woman, then make sure I'm there to at least watch. Now, the other thing will be domestic, of course. If you try to take a swing at me, that's it. It's over. I'm not even going to waste my time. And most importantly, deliberate harm to the kids. I mean, that just goes without saying. You try to do that, well, guess what? You're going to find out that Jay is not the only ninja on this show, because I'll cut you, and that's for sure. So now, getting that aside, we're going to get into some stats, everybody, because here at Marriage Pros, we have figures, we have facts. And two mathematician nerds like us, Jay and I, well, we're going to bring it to you. We're going to give you the truth. So Jay, I need you to break them off now with the whatever charts, stats, facts. If you need to molly whip them into shape, by all means. But let's get into it, Jay. Bring us the truth.
All right. So when I was doing some research on for people getting divorced and what are the biggest reasons and factors for people getting divorced, this is what I found. It was in Forbes, actually. And this is from actually this year, 2024. So the biggest factors for people going through divorce is a lack of family support, infidelity in someone's marriage, lack of compatibility, which I agree with 100%, lack of intimacy, too much conflict or arguing, financial stress, lack of commitment, parenting differences, marrying too young, opposing views of values and morals, substance abuse, domestic violence, and pursuing different lifestyles. You got to know how to your communication styles. Say, I'm going to the store. Is your spouse here? I'm going to the store, or they hear I'm going to a strip club? Something like that, right?
Wow.
So, are you guys on the same page?
So Jay, I don't think that's enough facts or stats. I think I'm kind of sensing our subscribers need more. They want to know other factors. I mean, let's say divorce already finalized. It happened. So at that point, what do people think? Do you have numbers, stats, something that you can give us that people would say could have saved their marriage, could have saved this heartache, could have saved them from getting divorced?
Another survey in the thing I read for Forbes was what divorcees believe could have saved their marriage, right? So the top things that were in that survey was a better understanding of the commitment of marriage, marriage prior to being married, better understanding of values and morals of my partner prior to being married, waiting longer to start a family, seeking professional help from a therapist or a couples counselor, waiting longer to get married, living together prior to being married.
Yes.
I don't think our marriage could have been saved was the very last one, which is the very low percentage, which
Oh, wow.
I understand that, depending on what went on in your marriage.
At this point, Jay, I think it sounds again, they did not spend enough time together. Something jump started them into that relationship that probably should not have been. Maybe some of them, because it's me saying it, could have just been sexual endeavors that they felt, okay, this feels good, let's move forward. That wasn't the right move. Well, Jay, it sounds like you're agreeing with our motto that marriage is not a fairy tale. It's not Disney here. And by the way, the one I agree with, I don't know which stat it is, but I I fully agree, and I'm sure Jay concurs. Live together first, people, because that's when it gets real. You're going to see each other for what you truly are, for better or worse. So do that first, even before thinking about marriage. Do not skip that step. It is very vital.
I'm gonna stop you right there. No, I don't believe in that. I really don't, because this is just for me, right?
Oh.
When you live with someone, yeah, yeah. When you live with someone, right, you do get to know the real them, and that's where you'll change your mind for better or worse. It's like, okay, I don't like this that the person does. I don't like that the person does. I feel if you're not already committed in the marriage, you're not looking for a way out. So by already marrying or living with someone before you marry them, it's like why are you buying the cow when you're getting the milk for free? That's that's how I relate it to living with someone before you get married, right?
Mm-hmm.
So getting married first and then living with them, because one, you're not looking for a way out once they do something that you don't like, or
Mm.
if they don't live the way you want to live. As far as that, that's where the compromise comes in. It's like, okay, I don't like this, or they're not as clean as me, or they're so messy over here, or they don't do this, they don't do that. That would ruin anything before anything gets started. You talk about all this stuff prior to getting married, so there's no surprises when you first move in together. But that's just me. But I see you think differently.
Absolutely, Jay, and that's what it's all about here at the Marriage Pros. We got Mafuchi and Jay actually disagreeing about a topic and a scenario, but that's okay. We have all comers here. Now, for all of you watching, in the comments, let us know, whose side are you on? Are you with Jay? Are you with Mafuchi? I mean, there's really one clear-cut winner here, so let's go.
I wouldn't offer advice unless someone's asking me for my advice.
Mm.
I do have a couple of friends who are going through marriage issues at the moment. One is currently going through a divorce, and the other one, their marriage is not as healthy as it once was.
Mm.
And I reached out to the person whose marriage isn't healthy at the moment, and just to figure out, what was going on without being too invasive about what's going on, without being too nosy. And it's it's more of a concern for that person and their family. So I said I'll pray for you, and I hope you get whatever result that you want out of it. And the person said thank you. My friend who's currently going through divorce, that was as the stats pointed out, it was a lot of miscommunication, not understanding, and giving the other person what they want, giving them grace. So there's a lot that was going on there as well. I would not give my advice unless it was asked.
Yeah, Jay, I wish we could take a poll on your friends. Maybe you could ask to find out if those were couples that moved in together before or not. So I would love to know that poll. But if a friend of mine, if I saw them struggling, I would not offer up advice. But I think, like you, I concur. If they ask me for advice or even ask me scenarios that they're going through, if I've done something similar, I'll gladly share my situation. If I've gone through it, that's no problem. If that serves as advice, by all means, take it for what it is. But that's as far as I go. Otherwise, you don't ask me, I see it, I'm staying my ass out of it, because that's none of my business and I don't want to get involved. And let's say the other person finds out, and guess what? Now it's a throuple of conflict, and I don't want that at all. So I'm staying out of it for that one, unless I'm asked, just like Jay. So we're back on track, people. Jay and I agree once again. So it's harmony yet again. We're back.
See, I feel that depends on the generation, honestly. I
Mm.
feel The older generation, they believe, okay, you're married, you just stay married and work it out. Unless it's some type of
Yeah.
physical abuse, emotional abuse, something like that. I did speak to my grandmother about that recently as well to get her thoughts and opinions on it. And she
Oh.
said the exact same thing. So I think our generation kind of treated like that. I know the generation after us, they don't even want to get married. So I don't even think that it applies to them. I feel some people do think that way, where it's like, okay, they don't think of it as, okay, we're getting married, is for better or for worse, sickness and health, death do us part. I don't think a lot of people think in that way because divorce, I don't want to say it's easy to do because it's a lot of process of getting that done and it takes some months for it to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
through and be finalized. Just because on those change your mind during the process. I
Mm-hmm.
do feel that people do think, oh, I don't like my spouse, I'll take them back to the store, get my money back, and call it a day. And they're not thinking about what I feel like they're breaking their vows. Like if it wasn't, like I said, a physical abuse thing or anything like that, where it's like, okay, it's unhealthy for both of you to be in a marriage. I feel you got married for the wrong reasons if that's what you're automatically jumping to is a divorce. If I think of initially, why did you get married? And why are you going through a divorce? There's a lot of celebrities, they'll say irreconcilable differences. What
Mm.
does that mean? So
Right.
that's just something I've always heard, but it's like it was never explained. And of course, I don't expect them to tell us all their business. But if you're in the public eye so much like that and you're putting your relationship in our face, we're going to know why are you getting divorced. So that's how I feel. They do feel treated like it's a receipt or no, this ain't working or this doesn't fit anymore. I'm gonna take it back and give you a different size or give me a different person.
I had a running gag with my wife, which I realized was a very narcissistic move when I say this and I explain it that in California, if you reach the 10-year mark, well, if afterwards you split up and get divorced, well, guess what? In California, you owe forever alimony. So I would always count down every year, like, okay, we're still okay this year, but let's see for next year up until the 10-year mark. But yeah, for me, I think just like you, Jay, once we got into this marriage, it was for better or worse. And trust us, I mean, different variations between us two, a better or more specifically worse, that can lead us to this topic of divorce. And I'm not gonna lie, there's been a handful of times where I did think about it. But again, I think it's more so selfish situations like, okay, I'm just not getting my way. If I didn't have this person, I can get my way. That's not the correct reason to lead to divorce, is what I finally came down to. Realizing, which is no, that if you love the person, you stay with them. That's what it's about. And I feel that Jay and I could both agree that we both love our wives, and that was the whole reason we got married to them, because we love them at the end of the day. And no, you should not try to return them, per se, just because you can. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people, as we mentioned before, you saw the chart, somebody's, as to why divorce happens and how it could have been avoided. Primarily, I still feel that you should get to know the person by moving in, but Jay's on the other side. But let's not rehash that because, again, Jay and I are kismet right now. So we'll leave it at that. Do not dump on your partner. Work it out as hard as it is. Just stick with it, somebody's. You'll appreciate it. Trust me, you'll be happier in the end.
I don't believe in divorce. If you're asking me honestly, I feel if you're gonna make this type of commitment, it's like buying a car, buying a house. You're putting everything into it. Like, it takes a lot of work to maintain it,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people feel marriage is hard work, but I don't feel it's hard work if you pick the right person. If you pick
Yeah.
the right person, yes, you're going to have disagreements, you're going to have arguments, but how can you resolve them? And that's just basic. conflict resolution. How do you guys resolve these type of issues? But that's also something you should discuss before you get married. So
Hmm.
overall, I don't think marriage is hard. It's just if you're picking the right person, it's not difficult. You're picking the wrong person, you're gonna fight every single day. It's just not going to work. You're gonna butt heads.
That's right, Jay. Let's get right into it. And since this, me, being the person that has gone through a divorce, I'll say it like this. The first marriage, that was not two people that were in love. Maybe love, but that was for the wrong reasons. So, especially because at that age, I was in my early 20s, I wasn't ready with my maturity to handle such a serious relationship that went into marriage. So, you really have to know yourself, and at that point, I still didn't know myself enough to realize, oh, I should not have done this. So, you have to really figure out why you want to be with this person. Number one, you want to get into a serious relationship. Number two, and number three, is this someone that you will take their worst crap, but will it be worth it? Is all the upside better than their downside? Is the juice worth the squeeze? So you have to know each other, and if you take that leap, then realize the best way to do it is with love. Jay has that with his wife, no doubt. I have that with my wife, absolutely. We take each other's crap, the worst of it, and we still come out of it with I love you somehow. Yes, it sounds impossible, it sounds harsh, but yes, we take all of it, but we still look into each other's eyes and say, I don't want to be without you. So that's what divorce has taught me. Be ready for it, and if you're not, don't do it. So Jay and I, we are all about the marriage. We were ready, and that's why we're still married 10 plus years. Some people would say we're torturing wives, but hey, I'll leave that in the comments for you to agree or disagree. So with that said, since you made it all the way through here, somebodies, how about you do one of two things? Either like our video, subscribe to our video. Oh hey, let's get wild. Let's do both. It always helps the channel, and we're always ready to give you all this advice and knowledge. So, and by the way, if you have any topics that you'd like for us to talk about, put it in there, because we read your comments. We read them all, that's for sure. And we're ready to talk about whatever you want us to talk about. When it comes to marriages, somebodies, come on, don't be silly, all right? Don't try to have us talk about our stinky socks or underwear. That's just not appropriate right now. Maybe at another time, another channel. So, with that said, you have Jay, you have Mafuchi, and we will see you next time, y'all.
Later, everyone.